Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ian, digital marketing consultant and agency owner. And in this video, we're gonna talk about how you can set up your email marketing if you're an e-commerce seller. Now, it doesn't matter if you are a one product e-commerce seller who's only on Amazon or someone who has their own custom e-commerce store with thousands of products. Email marketing is a massive part of your business, or at least it should be. So if you're interested in setting up email marketing for your business, or you already have it set up and want to make sure it's correct, stick around, because by the end of this video, you will have a fully fleshed out plan for your e-commerce email marketing. All right, so here we are in just a basic outline of some of what you need to do for email marketing. So this is going to be a high-level overview. If you're looking for an advanced tutorial, you already know the basics of email marketing. We're going to go through that in a later video, but for this one, I just want to talk about a basic framework you can use to get started with your e-commerce email marketing, the most important things you need to set up to see profit from your email, and just the overall framework that you want to use. Now, there's a lot more that you can build on top of this and start to test, but this will give you enough to get started, no matter where you're at with your email marketing. So first things first, why this is important. This is important because the customer journey is a huge part of the user experience for any brand. It really doesn't matter what you're selling or how you're presenting your brand online. If you're not following up through email marketing, you're missing one of the biggest channels to enhance that user experience. This is really big because it can make up as much as 30 to 40% of revenue for many of the companies. I talked about that in the intro, so I'm not gonna beat that to death. The tease for the end, if you stick around to the end, I'll give you the top 3 campaigns to start with right now, or that you should already have. So why email marketing is important, we already went over that, so I'm gonna get right into the main part of this content. So the biggest thing is don't build too many automations too soon. You want to start with the fewest automations possible and start with the fewest segments within your email, so within your autoresponder that you have. And segments would be just those different audience groups you have. For example, you could have a segment of people that came in during a sale period versus people that came in during a non-sale period. These are important later down the road when you start tracking the lifetime value of different types of customers, so that you can have a better understanding of how the different offers that you're bringing people in the door with, so to speak, are affecting the lifetime value of those customers. So the next part, with every email that you send, you want to be building your credibility. Again, emails are a huge way to not only get transactions and short-term value, but to build that brand equity with your customers. And you do that in 3 main ways. The first one is speaking to the concerns and objections of people that are at the stage of the buyer's journey that they're on. So if you have a segment of people that came in and they're leads and they have not purchased anything yet, you need to be talking to those people as leads. You need to be educating them on the brand, what you stand for, how the product that they initiated the opt-in for, that they're interested in, how that product is different from what might also be on the market or what they might also be considering. And if it's someone who already bought a product, you need to be telling them what to expect as they're waiting for that product, if this is a physical product that's shipped to them, or how they can get the best start possible if it's some sort of digital product like a training product, things that will assist them to get that core value out of their purchase more quickly. And again, if it's a physical product, the way that you do that is to just make sure if there's anything else that's going to enhance the experience of that product when they get it, they're prepared for that. And then the next part is making sure that you're speaking to, topics and ideas that are going to inform the person, which we kind of just got into, but also entertain them. And this is where it just comes down to the amount of work that you're putting in your emails. Obviously, entertaining people isn't as simple as sending out an email, if it's a post-purchase follow-up, just sending out an email that says, hey, your order's coming, and it can be it can be expected in the next 2 to 5 days or whatever. And it really just takes a little bit of thoughtfulness and the discipline to come up with something that is really going to delight your buyers. And the best example of this, a lot of people who are familiar with e-commerce and online stores in general have probably heard of this story, but the best example is Derek Sivers' follow-up email for CD Baby. CD Baby was a company that was one of the original distributors for musicians to have their work distributed outside of some of these major companies. Think of old companies like Tower Tower City Records or some of these big music companies. CD Baby was a way for independent artists to get some of the same type of distribution they would get in big stores. And so with CD Baby, what Derek Sivers did was they had a follow-up email that went into a long story about how each individual CD was being carefully wrapped, and they were throwing a party for the CD, as it left the shipping station or the warehouse. And all the employees were wishing their CD farewell as it, left the warehouse to get hand delivered to their house. Things like this. It was just a very unique way to delight the customer for post-purchase follow-up. And in this case, like all others, it just took a little bit of extra thoughtfulness. Now, the last point here is the corollary, is the opposite point, which is that, you don't want to be talking about things that your customer definitely does not care about. So you just want to make sure that you're not allowing language or messaging that is not relevant to your customer into your emails. You want to be really careful with what you're talking about. So the next part is tailoring content to the platforms you're on. So in this case with email, you want to make it so that it's conversational. You want it to be just like an email you would send to a friend talking about something that is of interest to them. You don't want to include any spammy or salesy words or characters, things like money signs or lots of capitals, lots of exclamation points. You want to keep it conversational and in the same kind of tone, the same kind of voice you would use speaking to a friend. And then you want to include the recipient's name in your email. That should be obvious, but it's surprising how many people do not have that from day one. And that's definitely a low-hanging fruit for an important part of the email. The next part is to experiment after the initial open rate. So at a minimum, you're going to want a period of 2 to 4 weeks to test open rates. Ideally, you already have a ton of subscribers, so you can get some really good numbers behind these tests. But if not, that's okay. Just make sure you at least get a few weeks so that you can then see what your open rates are and then start to test, different headlines in the emails, different times for your sending to different segments of your list. All these different things can be tested. And then of course, in email actions like clicking through on a link, those will be tested separately with the body content and any additional content like graphics for the email. Things to keep in mind, if you're not getting good open rates, it could be a deliverability issue. One of the easiest ways to test this, especially if you have a smaller list, maybe you have a smaller B2B list, would be to test one of the native CRMs that you can use within an within an email program like Gmail. So Mixmax and Streak are great examples. These are things that you can test and get some of those high deliverability rates that things like Gmail will have compared to some of the other commercial autoresponders, while also having it function like a commercial autoresponder. You want to be careful depending on what industry you're operating in because of legality issues with business emails coming from a non-business email address, but this is worth testing if it is applicable to your industry. The next one is you can try downgrading low open rate emails to plain text as those have higher open rates. And then of course, like I just mentioned, you're going to be testing individually. You're going to want to test the subject lines, body copy, and the types of emails, like how many and how much types of graphics you have in those emails. So that is the basic framework for e-commerce emails. I've covered everything that you absolutely need to have in your email. Now, on top of this most basic outline, you can also add in a lot of other things to get better performance and higher revenue from your emails, including there's many different sequences we can add, and we could literally talk about this all day. I'll be coming up with some of the more intermediate and advanced email marketing material in further videos, but I think this basic framework is the most important one. So now, since we're at the end of the video, I want to give the first 3 email sequences everyone should have set up. And those are simply going to be the pre-purchase email sequence, the post-purchase email sequence, and the abandoned cart email sequence. So the pre-purchase is simply something that someone gets for opting in on the website or initiating some sort of lead opt-in, whether that's for a free downloadable PDF if you're an information business, or this could be some sort of coupon code if you're a regular e-commerce store, or someone that just wants to be on a members list if you're an e-commerce store that's sending out a newsletter. Post-purchase is just what it sounds like, first email and the sequence that they're going to get after they initiate their first purchase. Now, eventually you're going to want to have separate post-purchase email sequences for people who are repeat purchasers, and then in some cases you have special groups of customers for people who opted in for special offers or to become part of a special community within your group of consumers who might get special coupon codes or other types of special treatment. So eventually you're going to need different post-purchase sequences for all those types of customers. But for now, you just want to make sure you have the one. And basically all you're doing is as soon as the person orders, you let them know you received their order and give them an estimated time of delivery based on when they ordered. And then within the next day or two, you give them an email letting them know some basics of what they can expect and anything they can do to prepare or get more value from their product when they do receive it. I like to have one right after they purchase their product, within 24 hours after they purchase, another one within 48 hours after they purchase, and then at your discretion, a third one at 72 hours or 96 hours. And then from there, you can do every day or every other day until the expected date that they're going to receive that product. And of course, if this is a digital product that's instant receipt, you can do something more like a mini course, teaching them how to get the most value out of the course and making sure that they're using it in a way that's going to get them those results most quickly. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Those are the basic emails you need to start with, and this is the basic framework. If you're not sure about anything I said, just go back in this video, because if you understand and can apply all of this, you're going to have the 80% solution to e-commerce email marketing, and you're going to have a good basic framework for how to build out the rest of your sequences and the things that you definitely need to avoid. So anyway, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.